Hi everyone, this is Shari here, and I have my wonderful hubby. I got him to participate in this first edition of Marriage Confessions. Since we're coming upon the Valentine's holiday, I thought it'd be a great idea for us to do a video together just talking about a little bit about marriage, because a lot of people are working towards marriage, are already in marriage, and we're about to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary this year on May 14th. So I just thought this would be a great opportunity for us to share a little bit of our experiences and possibly help some other married couples out there. But like I said, this is my hubby, Cliff, my bestie, my best friend, the love of my life, my superhero, my Prince Charming, all of that stuff. And he's joining me today, and he's the sillier one in our couple. I'm the more serious one, and he's the interesting one. So today's topic is going to be the pros and cons of getting married young, because we got married at 21. We were high school sweethearts. We started dating our junior year of high school. We were 17 and got married our junior year of college. And so a lot of people feel like getting married young is a bad thing, you're gonna fail. And so we just wanna talk about our experiences, because I think that getting married young is a great thing. That's what people did for many years. Most people who've been married for 60 years, 50 years, you find out that they were married very young. And so just because you get married young doesn't mean that you're destined to fail. And we're living proof of that. Like I said, we're about to celebrate 10 years. We have 3 beautiful children. Danielle's 8, CJ's 4, and Samantha is 1. And we are still here. We're still happy, and we're not at each other's throat all of the time. So I guess we'll get into some of the pros. I say for my pro, I think, is that when you get married young, you grow together. You kind of grow up together. We experience a lot of things, a lot of life together. When you get married older, you kind of have your own separate experiences, and when you get married to someone else, you may have a lot of baggage, and a lot of times people are pretty set in their ways. But because we were so young when we got together, we grew up and became adults and learned a lot about life together, and we didn't have as much baggage. Baggage from childhood, yeah, but not from previous relationships, because our first serious relationship was with each other. So what would you say, babe, was one of the pros?
I would agree. I would completely agree. I think you get to be engaged with one another before you get involved in your professional careers. I know a lot of people, not saying anything against people who get married later in their careers, but especially getting to know each other from our younger years, and getting married young, right, in college, and just kind of knowing each other before we got engaged in our professional careers. We were less self-involved, less motivated to please ourselves, because we'd been together for so long. We were used to negotiating, and we're used to just kind of sharing each other's ways and ideas, and we wasn't really set in our own ways. And both being the youngest in each of our families, we had our own ways, and kind of spoiled in our own right, but but beyond, before we got set in our adult ways, we really got to kind of gel and mold and come together before that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess now I could say a con, and we kind of do like pro-con type of thing. One of the cons, I think, about getting married young is the fact that you're still learning life. So it could be a pro and a con, because I think when you get married young, you're still trying to figure out who you are as an individual. And so now you have to try to balance figuring out who you are and figuring out how to be what your spouse needs you to be. And so you kind of fight with that within yourself, I think, because it's a certain level of independence you want, because now you're free from your parents, you're grown and all that, and now you get, instead of your parents telling you they want you to do something, your spouse is telling you they want you to do something. So you have a way of kind of rebelling You know, and I think guys go through that worse because guys have this ego thing, right? So, because when we first got married, I would ask him to do something, and he'd be like, just no, you know, just trying to.
No, that was just because I was the man.
He would be trying to act all tough about the
way.
smallest stuff, and I'm like, babe, you know, I just asked you to take out the trash, and you just like, no, I'll take out trash, but I won't take out trash. I was like,
that was the truth.
You know, so dealing with a 21-year-old's ego is so different. I think if a man, you know, when guys get older, like now we're 31, and he's so much more mellow because he's really comfortable in his manhood. But when you're 21,
She's just realizing that I'm bomb.
Oh, whatever. No, he just realized that I know what's right and I'm always right. And so he's finally getting that. And he doesn't argue with me so much. But when we were 21, honey, he was always trying to flex and show that he was the man of the house. And then as a woman, you kind of, you know, have issue with, you know, I guess.
Realizing that I'm the man of the house.
Anywho. Let's move on to another pro.
As far as the con, I probably have to say, just talking to friends and you know, watching others relate as far as when they get married in their older lives and their post-profession or current profession lives. I would have to say monetarily, you're able to get yourself better situated when you've already been in your career. You're single, you're able to save up money for a family. And so I would think that's probably, just thinking professionally, one of those things that I kind of look back on and just kind of like, man, you know, if we had waited, you know, been a little bit longer, we could have saved a little money and kind of been a little bit better financially. But, you know, step by step, you know, we get there and work together and work through stuff. And
I think too, if you get married young and you don't have kids for a while, that will kind of help that situation. But we got pregnant 2 months after we got married.
They call them dinks. Dual income, no kids.
Yeah, exactly. We call them single. We say it's still like being single. You just have a partner.
You still single.
When you have kids, you're no longer single. But, so, yeah, we had our first child. Well, we got pregnant 2 months after we got married. And so we went right into all these financial obligations
Still
right away. Yeah, still in school, still in college. CJ, see what I'm talking about? I might edit that out, I might not, just so you can see the real, okay?
In my nose.
Okay. But yeah, we had kids right away. We had kids right away. Be quiet. Stop. You're just going to mess up my editing process. We had kids right away, so we went right into a bunch of financial obligations.
Bills.
So if you get married young, if possible, you know, maybe
and
wait a few years.
I'll tell anybody that's getting married around the time we got married to...
You go ahead.
I tell anybody that's getting married around the time we got married to just kind of enjoy each other, save up. If you want to travel, do a little traveling, but just kind of hold off, you know, until you can really be prepared to have. You're never fully prepared to have a kid, but you can at least be in a better situation financially and emotionally. Just get to know each other better.
Yeah. And I think because we had such a strong relationship with God individually, we were able to deal with some of the obstacles that came our way from getting married young, from having children right after getting married. But a lot of people do not make it through that. A lot of people cannot handle that. I'll be right back. Okay.
We're back.
We're back.
I never left.
Let's see. What's another pro? or being, oh, okay. Well, in this day and age, when people are sleeping with everybody, one of the great things about getting married young is that you don't have all of that sexual baggage.
Promiscuous,
Yeah.
Very
People
promiscuous.
are very promiscuous now.
Yeah.
And if you get married at 30, the person you marry may have had about 50 partners.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you got married at 30, we're not dissing you.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Hopefully you got tested. I'm just saying. Some people are nasty.
Just nasty and filthy.
Just know your
Filthy
mate.
and nasty.
And if you accept each other for who you are, then more power to you.
Yeah.
But at the younger age, it is, a lot easier. Granted, I know there's still young kids that do foolish things, of course.
Yeah.
But there's at least there's a whole lot less risk in just your mate having a good deal of partners.
A lot of sexual partners.
So you can definitely gauge that a lot better.
And people don't understand that a lot of that is brought into marriage. So you have to keep that in mind. If you know that you want to get married one day, cherish yourself, cherish your body, and keep in mind all that you're going to bring in sexually, spiritually into that marriage if you allow yourself to be promiscuous.
And I know it burns within and you want to be with somebody. So go and get married young. If you wait till you're 30, then that fire goes ahead and it just takes you over and you want to go ahead and just be with people. But when you're younger, you can kind of get that in earlier.
That's true.
You don't have to
That's
wait
how
so long.
we got pregnant 2 months after marriage.
That's right. We sure did.
But
Yes. It's our oldest blessing. Yes, that's Lord.
yeah. But yeah, so that's definitely a pro of getting married young. It's just not having that emotional baggage from being with a lot of different people and a lot of past relationships, because that is something that interferes with people when they're married, those first few years, being a newlywed. A lot of that baggage from exes come in and interfere with what you're trying to build in your new relationship, and you don't run into that as much when you get married young.
And we've had so many people come to us in their older years, but their young years of marriage, just wondering how are you all the way you are, and just how do you do what you do, and how do you relate to each other the way you do, and you make it look so easy. And I think a lot of it attributes to the fact that we did get together young, and we didn't build up these walls that you can typically build up after you've gotten older and you've been in relationship after relationship after relationship. And sometimes you can't help it because you don't find that person till you later on in life.
Right, definitely.
But if you can and you do find that person, but you just kind of want to test the field, play the field a little bit more, get out there and just kind of search beyond that person, even though you may know that's the one, I would definitely encourage you to go forward with that one and pursue that if you really feel that that's the person you're meant to be with.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah, you're really not. I mean, you save yourself a lot of heartache. You save yourself a lot of trouble. Because I think we've had a fun ride to this point. We've gone through some stuff, but at the same time we bounce back, and older people ask us, how do you all do it? You seem happy, and we're like, yeah, genuinely happy, genuinely love each other, get into our little spats, but we come back together pretty easily. Kids jump in between us when they want to, but once we put them to bed, we have our time. It's just part of having kids. So I think it's worked out to this point,
Yeah. And
10 years in.
Amen.
14, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. This will be, we just celebrated in November our 14th year together. And like I said, on May 14th, it'll be a 10-year wedding anniversary. I would say one of the cons of getting married young is that haunting feeling that you're missing out. And we see that from other young couples. You kind of feel like, man, what would have happened if I didn't get married young, or what would have happened if we didn't have kids right away. It's always, what if? Did I miss out on life in my 20s because I was married, or did I miss out on life because we had kids? It's always a shoulda, woulda, coulda thing. But, you know, I feel like even if you didn't get married young, you would wonder what life would have been like if you were married young. So we as people have a tendency, we have a tendency to always wonder what if. But that is something that you see a lot of couples that marry young battle.
Yeah. We dance those questions around.
Right. And one spouse, sometimes I've seen this a lot, where one spouse is content with being married. They're in their 20s, they're content, they're fine with it. But then you have another spouse that wants to go out, that wants to party, feels like, oh, now we're acting like old people. We're home, and all of our friends, our single friends, are out partying and drinking and all that. And so that causes conflict, because the other one's saying, why can't you just be happy being married? You're not missing out on another one and missing out on nothing. And the other spouse is saying, well, why are you so boring? You know, let's go out, let's enjoy life. We're only 25 or whatever.
Which one were you?
Neither. I think I was content, you know. I've never been the type, though, to really want to go out a lot. Even if I was single, I would be at home. Yeah. So, yeah, that wasn't my issue. What about you?
Yeah, I was definitely a couch potato. I never wanted to do anything. I think more than anything, you probably want to do more than I would.
Yeah, but even then, it was like go to the movies. It wasn't go, you know, to a club or nothing. But, I did that a little bit in my teenage years, and it was overrated. And so, so that's another issue that you can have, getting married young. And I think if you are a young couple and you are going through that, the best thing for you to do is compromise. I mean, if one of you wants to go out every once in a while, I think it's only fair for the spouse that's the homebody to do that every once in a while.
Right.
But you can't go out every night. You can't go out every weekend.
Right.
Let them sit home and rest. Cuddle up with them on the couch and watch a movie.
Man, that gets expensive.
Yeah, it gets expensive.
Yeah,
you know, turning up is turning broke. Yeah. You know, so just, you know, compromise on that. And find out what will make the other spouse feel fulfilled. You know, because you don't want your spouse to feel like they aren't being fulfilled and feel like they need to go out with their single friends because their spouse won't go out with them. It's not fair for you to say, I won't go out with you, but you can't go out with your friends either. You know, so you have to find a way to compromise.
Definitely.
And what would you say another pro is?
Well, maybe not just a pro, but I would, as far as advice is concerned, you know, just kind of back on that financial tip, because there are a lot of relationships that go into ruin and divorce over finances just while you're young, you know, when you first get married and pursue this lifelong journey together. Begin to plan for your future early, you know, begin to plan for emergencies, begin to plan financially for your, you know, long-term life together. You don't want to start doing that once you have kids, because all your money is going to go into the kids.
Right.
I mean, regardless of what you say, you're going to wind up drawing back on some of that savings, because diapers and formula and baby food and daycare. And so that stuff, it really takes a toll on you financially. Regardless of your financial situation, you can be, you know, lower, middle, higher class, doesn't matter, because wherever you are, that's where you're going to want to provide for your child.
Right.
And so at that level, just be prepared to be able to have to spend more on your child than you anticipated. You can never budget enough, I think.
If you wearing Gucci, you're going to want your baby to wear Gucci too.
You're going to want your baby to wear Gucci. That's right. You're going to want your baby to wear Gucci. It's baby Gucci. But, you know, just before you have children, once you come together, understand each other's financial state. If you're older, divulge your finances to one another before you get married. Say, hey, this is where I am financially. Where are you financially? This is where I am financially. So that when you come together, you'll have a better understanding of where you need to go, what you need to do with your finances, especially if you're dealing with credit matters. You'll know how to handle that before you say I do. So when you say I do, it's not a surprise and there's nothing hidden, and you don't feel, in any way like your spouse lied to you or hid anything from you before you got married. So I think it's best to be open and honest before you get married, with the understanding that we're going to work through it. It's going to be tough. Things will be difficult, of course. That's just life. But just being able to do it in that manner, open and honest with your finances, is the best bet.
Amen to that. But that's really all we have for this episode of Marriage Confessions. I hope that you all enjoyed this, and I hope that if you are engaged and you're young, or you're newly married, even if you're not in your early 20s, that some of this discussion was helpful for you. And please feel free also to ask questions, leave comments below. And this won't be the only Marriage Confessions video. This is just the first one in honor of Valentine's Day. But if you have any other topics you are interested in us talking about, please leave a comment, message me, let me know some things that you maybe want to talk about, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.